let me know, will you? Hey, everybody, this is Brian here with Coaching in Life. That's Cal, Coaching in Life, coachinginlife.com, here for the Wednesday webinar. And I'm glad you're here with me today. It's been a crazy week, so this is nice. Take a few minutes to spend some time with you and spend some time with Barrett out there in Denmark where it's a little chilly. You got your little, padded vest there. Yeah. Now here it's supposed to be 99 degrees. And so it's like, oh man, if we could just meet in the middle somewhere, right, and have just the perfect temperature. Now, Ed is supposed to be joining us today, but I don't know where he's at. So hopefully he's okay. He said he wasn't feeling so great, so he may not make it today. But for today's topic for food for thought, I'm going to throw it over to Barrett because she and I were kind of talking, and she started kind of discussing what we wanted to talk about, and it was so good I decided I'm just going to let her introduce it to all of you. All right, so Barrett, take it away.
Take it away. I will. Thank you, Brian, and it's so wonderful too. I love our Wednesdays, and it is chilly here in Denmark today, and like California, we have opened up everything except the borders. So let's see where all this leads. What I wanted to say was that working and proceeding like we are right now, change will change. So change changes, and we need now more than ever faster to understand what it is that we need to adapt to. And I think that the bridge builders, exactly like you and I spoke about just a minute ago, what is kindness, what is tolerance, and how do we use bridge builders' values to create the goals that we want? I mean, I know that right now you're struggling with the pressure of exactly the change of change. So change changes, and it changes us. We become, I think, a little bit from the challenges that we gain in life, the learning. And I think that the values like kindness that you and I spoke about, kindness is a very, very strong value to bridge the gap.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if I understand correctly, what you're saying is that not only do our circumstances change, but also the dynamics with which we adapt have to change as well. With so many things going on right now that we don't understand, the world has changed. And so we might have been able to look at a series of events in the past and say, oh, well, I can adapt, I can change, I can modify this way. But even that now has to change. So then what we were talking about was how do we do that? How do we make that happen? And we were talking specifically about kindness as the root of this, tolerance, treating people the way you would like to be treated, which predates almost every other law. You go back to the Code of Hammurabi and we've got things like that. You go back even further. Community societies have always had that, treat people the way you want to be treated. And then I always like to share that we should also treat people the way that they want to be treated as well. We all come from different perspectives, backgrounds, cultures, etc. And when we start to change the way that we adapt, it's going to allow us to be more flexible. Would that be a good word?
I think that would be a very good word.
Yeah. And so I think you're spot on. And when you said change changes, I said, stop, freeze. I want you to share that because it's a very interesting dynamic that's a little more difficult to get your head around. We all walk into it and say, well, of course things change, but you and I are talking about something a little more meta, something a little more, thought-provoking. Would you agree?
I fully agree. And, I like data-oriented driven changes, and I like to understand what is really happening and going on. And I think that, especially in our case, we have the feedback tool that gives customers ability to give companies replies in real time. But what it also allows is to give insight and evidence to what changes are actually taking place, because time moves faster and we need to generate and adapt and progress faster than we have ever done before. So I think that this changes rapidly. We've been forced now to have distance, social distance. There's many things that we need to do. But all in all, I think that the way that we adapt going forward, that is really changes. And how fast can you adapt? How fast can you implement new things? How fast do you know what's really going on? And to do that, to do the implementation and the change, you will really need kindness, understanding, tolerance. Because I think
absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what, Barrett, I think you would agree that it's not just kindness and tolerance and patience for other people, but kindness, tolerance, and patience for ourselves as we are, encountering these new situations. And, also, I think I'd like to add that as we have to make these changes and modify and adjust, that we reach out. And we reach out with an open mind. And we find those who have new ideas, maybe try some different things, which is where we come in as coaches. There was another coach, and I'd seen one of his promotions, and he said, "Hey, we need coaches now more than ever." And I think that's very true. And, a lot of people may say, well, why would I need a coach? Why would I want a coach? Because this is what we study all the time. This is what we do all the time. We, study the psychology behind these things. We study the approaches, and we find the tools, and we think inside the box so we can think outside the box. Because how many times do we hear people say, think outside the box, but they can't friggin' think inside the box. So even just the most mundane tasks evade them. So, and it's a good place to practice that compassion, practice that kindness, and maybe learn some ways to practice that compassion and that kindness. Do you agree?
I also think that all coaches, we're not coaches because we haven't tried anything. We're coaches because we ourselves have found that we needed tools where we failed, and we found the extremely success in the human tools that really gets the results. And some people are born with natural talents on how to either manipulate or give results from collaborating with other people, and they have a natural talent. And some people, like some of us, have to investigate and really understand what is it that is happening, and to share that and give people that knowledge so that they don't fail. I think that especially when things change and changes, and you don't know how to react, and you don't know how to respond, and you don't know where your customers are going. You can't know because they're going into something new. And here, the leadership, I think that one of the things that I read in a LinkedIn post was management knows how to get things done the right way. Leaders know how to do the right things. So I mean, leaders are people who go first. They take the struggle, and I think that we all have tried to do the right thing, doing it right and sticking to it. And I also saw on the news that companies today are firing the 12% of the people in the corporate that are actually generating the results. So I think that companies can't continue if just getting things done the right way. Getting done things the right way, you can get software to do that. And I mean, we have loads of software on Coaching and Life that can support any feedback people need, from procurement, quality, offer. But what I wanted to say was that we're humans, and humans need learning and training. And learning and training is not only in your private life and in your business life, but it is as a human being. you need to grow, and you need to grow in your work, the work you do. You need to grow with your family, and you need to grow on your personal abilities as a human being. That's what
Well,
we need.
and
Really.
you're absolutely right. You know, change is at the core, and things are not going to be the same. There's not going to be going back to the status quo. And so, you know, just kind of to sum everything up, if you're looking for a place to change in a non-judgmental atmosphere where you can make mistakes, and in fact, I encourage mistakes. Mistakes lead to innovation, you know, and so yeah, pardon me, we've got some renovations going on over here, so I'm sure it's pretty loud. And so, so yeah, mistakes lead to innovation. Things are changing, and when you want help with that, reach out to us at coachingandlife.com. We've got we have a lot of different approaches and expertise and coaches with different strengths that can help you guys. And so thank you for spending time with us today. Barrett, any final thoughts?
No, I think that I had a good wording today. Fantastic.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. So, all right, everybody, we want you to be safe out there. The coronavirus is not gone, you know, even though some of our governments like to think it is, but it runs on its own time. So please be safe. We'll be thinking about you. Until we meet again, everybody, inhale relaxation, exhale tension, be well.